Have you ever noticed how this world sometimes feels too intelligent? Like it's not just, you went, bought some bread, came home. It's those other moments. You think of someone, and they message you that same day. You whisper to yourself, I need silence. And suddenly people start fading from your space. You decide, I'm done with this job. And within days, work begins to gently push you out, and you pause thinking, wait a minute. Either I'm going crazy, or this reality is listening to my thoughts a little too well. The official explanation? You're just noticing coincidences and ignoring everything else? Relax. But let's be honest. Deep inside, you feel it. The timing, the mood, the way life aligns with your thoughts, your emotional state. Too often to write it off as random. And that's where the quantum world enters, not as a set of equations, but as a way of seeing. What if reality isn't just a static background? What if it's a field, and this field responds to you? Let's talk about that. No tinfoil hats, but also, no bedtime fairy tales like, everything is just a coincidence. You wake up. Your hand reaches for your phone before your eyes are fully open. You scroll through the news, the usual chaos. Death, disaster, restrictions, market crashes, more drama. The world is ending, for the third time this week. Then you open social media. Everyone's life looks better than yours. Your first silent thought of the day, I'm falling behind. I'm not enough. Something's wrong with me. And you haven't even left your bed yet. But your day is already cursed. Now watch what begins to unfold. Someone bumps into you on the bus. The cashier's machine freezes, on you. Your boss throws a petty complaint your way. Tech starts to glitch. Someone snaps at you. And by evening, your mind has its proof. The world is shit. People are idiots. Life is punishment. Option 2. The alternate line. Same morning. But you don't grab your phone. Not yet. You just lie there. Breathe. Feel your body. Stare at the ceiling. You drink a glass of water. Do one small thing. For yourself. Not a motivational marathon. Just a quiet question. How do I want to feel today? And yes, the tasks are the same. Work, obligations, the usual path. But something shifts. On the bus, someone offers their seat. The cashier smiles for no reason. Your boss's complaint rolls off your shoulders. We'll figure it out. Same outer picture. But the inner state changed, and suddenly, the world no longer feels like an enemy. Here's the first secret of the quantum field, hidden in human language. The world is not a static image. It's a field. And this field amplifies what you project into it. You walk into the day radiating a certain frequency, and the field mirrors it back. You walk in radiating a different one, and a different storyline begins to unfold. We were taught the world is made of solid matter, and that empty space, just nothing. The wall matters. The space between you and the wall doesn't. But quantum physics got curious. It stuck a few instruments into that nothing and went, guys, there's a whole party going on in here. In the so-called vacuum, particles flash in and out of existence. Energy appears and disappears. Everything is vibrating, moving. So that place we were told was empty, it's very much alive. Why does this matter if you're not a physicist? Because it means one simple thing. There's no such thing as true nothingness. Not in space, not in moments. You walk down the street thinking, whatever, just another day, just another job, just life. But in truth, you're moving through a responsive field, a field that's constantly shifting. And your thoughts, emotions, and decisions, they're not passive, they are inputs. And I don't mean it in a woo-woo manifest $1 million way. I mean it in a grounded way. You walk through your day constantly coding your reality. Are you playing the game of everything sucks, or I'm a victim, or I'm the creator? You're not a helpless insect lost in the void. You're a co-author in motion. Now let me show you one of the strangest quantum tricks ever found, the double-slit experiment. Usually when people explain it, half the audience falls asleep, so let's keep it human. Here's the essence. When no one is watching a particle, it behaves like a wave, like a smeared-out possibility. It's everywhere and nowhere. But the moment we observe it, it suddenly acts normal, like a good little particle following a straight path. Meaning, the act of watching changes the outcome. Now forget the lab. Let's talk real life. Take money, for example. As long as you pretend things will work out somehow, you avoid looking at your finances. You don't track your habits, your spending, your income. So your money behaves like that wave, sometimes here, sometimes gone. You live in a fog. Money is never there, but somehow, sometimes it is. But the moment you say, let's look honestly, and open your statements, track where it goes, watch your patterns, suddenly, things change. It might hurt, because you realize your job isn't sustainable. You're sabotaging yourself. Half your purchases are band-aids for deeper wounds, but now you've brought it into focus. You turn the camera on, and reality can no longer pretend. Same with relationships. As long as you look away saying, well, yeah, they humiliate me sometimes, Guillaume, but everyone's struggling. They don't really listen, but at least I'm not alone. I'm surviving, not living. But that's just marriage, right? You live in a blurred version of life, but the moment you look directly and admit, they don't see me. They don't respect me. I agreed to live below my own standards. The line begins to break. Fights, distance, breakups. Not because the world got worse, but because you finally looked. That's how the quantum world works. No observation, it stays a wave. Observation, it collapses into a path. You are not a victim of life. You're the one pointing the lens. Let me leave you with something you've definitely experienced. You're sitting, minding your business, and then suddenly think of someone you haven't thought of in months. A few hours later, they message you. You're living your day, and get this sudden, strange anxiety for someone close. Later, you find out they had a rough moment. Right then, you reach for your phone, and they've already written. The official explanation? Coincidence. But in the quantum world, there's this thing called entanglement. Two particles that once touched continue to affect each other, even across galaxies. Sound familiar? You go through life with someone, in love, in pain, in shock, in joy. You've been deeply connected, mentally, emotionally, and now, even if you part ways, the connection still buzzes. It may not make logical sense, but it's honest. You're not just a body walking through the city. You are a node in a vast living network. When you sit among people who constantly complain, who live in fear, who vibrate from lack, you're bathing in that field. And when you're alone, but aligned with truth, creation, and growth, you're plugged into a completely different grid. Entanglement is not just about electrons, it's about people. Those you've been deeply connected to, you still feel them. And yes, sometimes the most spiritual act is simply untangling yourself from those who keep pulling you down. Another strange twist in quantum physics is the delayed choice experiment. In simple terms, what you measure later can influence what is believed to have happened before. Translated into real life, your past shifts when you shift. The facts remain. But the story, the meaning you assign, evolves. At 15, you might think, they didn't love me. They broke me. At 25, they were broken themselves. They did what they could. At 35, that pain woke me up. That was the beginning of my path. Same memory, same scene, the scream, the humiliation, the betrayal, the failure, but from different levels of awareness. It's either the end of your story or the pivot point of your transformation. Each year, you rewrite who you were, a victim or someone who rose through fire. The quantum world says, nothing is written in stone. Your present gaze reshapes what your past means to you. As long as you cling to the version that says, they destroyed me, I had no choice, you stay on that line. But the moment you say, yes, it hurt. But that pain became my fuel. I choose to use it as a resource, not an excuse. The line shifts. The world might look the same, but you are not. And because you've changed, the game starts playing differently with you. Let's talk about the mysticism that everyone secretly feels. Have you ever walked into an old building and felt a physical discomfort? Stepped into an abandoned place, and it pressed on your chest? Entered a temple, forest, or mountaintop, and felt lighter? More free? You could dismiss it. I'm just imagining things. But if reality is a field, then it makes sense. Places hold states. Where people screamed, suffered, died, or oppressed each other for years, the field of that place stores a residue. And where people created, loved, prayed, or healed, a different vibration remains. That's why an apartment might look fine, but feel like constant arguments still echo there. And a modest home can feel like peace. Same with objects. A piece of clothing worn during your darkest days might still hold that version of you. A gift from someone with a painful story still tugs at your energy. Your work desk, buried under old papers, anchors you to a project you've already outgrown. People feel this deeply. That's why, after a breakup, they throw out half their stuff, move furniture, repaint walls. It's not just emotional. It's quantum hygiene. You're saying to the field, I'm changing this space so it stops anchoring me to the old version of myself. And it works. Not because of magic, but because of basic psychoenergetics. You shift the space. The space stops echoing your old code. So what can you do with all this in daily life? Start here. Stop selling your attention for cheap. Your attention is your currency, your most powerful one. Where you place it, you divide reality accordingly. You spend hours on the news, your universe becomes fear, politics, helplessness. You scroll through curated perfection on social media, your universe becomes, I'm not enough, I'm behind, something's wrong with me. But if you spend hours looking at your own ideas, your own projects, people who inspire you, your universe begins to reflect that wave. Not because the universe is rewarding you, but because finally, you told the field, this is where I'm looking now. A quantum leap doesn't always require a retreat in the mountains or 1,000 affirmations. Sometimes it's just one honest no instead of the usual fine. One evening spent with yourself instead of absorbing someone else's drama. One conscious step away from toxic energy. Each small act, a frequency shift. The world doesn't have to change instantly, but the line moves. And a month of micro shifts later, you look around and realize you're living in a different version of reality. So what's the point of all this? The quantum world isn't about sitting around feeling chosen or spiritually elite. It's about something simple. You're not a spectator in someone else's movie. You are part of a reactive mechanism that responds to your state, your focus, your choices. Yes, there are things bigger than you. Yes, life throws unexpected events, but every single day you still get to choose. Where does my attention go? Who gets my energy? Which thoughts will I believe? Which version of myself do I stabilize? These are your hidden levers in the quantum world, not magic, just clear self-direction inside a strange, living, responsive system we call life. Thank you for being here. Stay aware. I wish you the best timeline. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.